This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, and welcome into another episode of Only the Bulls. Ooh, only the Bulls. That's going to go great with music that does not sound like that under me. I'm joined with my co-host for today, Dave Elster. Dave, it's Saturday morning. There is sunlight behind you. How you doing?
It's a different thing to record during the daytime.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't like it.
Definitely throwing me off a little bit.
Already don't like it.
Sorry about it, But it had to happen. Like, we got Bulls, we got to talk about them, and their lack of doing things. But at the same time, I mean, they're kind of doing stuff on the court. So, how you feeling,
Dave,
Still not happy.
This is going to be a very interesting podcast because first off, I'm upset about this still. It has been 2 days. I'm still upset. 2, I am pulling away, opening the fourth wall, whatever it is, the curtain. For those of you out there, I have gotten this many hours of sleep tonight.
Yeah.
I have been up all night. I can't. The Bulls are. I'm going to blame them for my lack of sleep, even though it's not them. That is why I am lack of sleeping. But before we get into this, Discord, join that community, greatest community down below. If you want to support us, Patreon link down below as well. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Let us know what you guys think down below. Sub and like. I know that I'm not very energetic with that, Dave, because we did a podcast before the trade deadline, and the exact thing we talked about was, are the Bulls going to make a move? We had DeMar. We had DeMar that could have been moved. We had Zach that could have been moved before surgery. We had Caruso. We had Drummond. And the Bulls made as many moves as I got hours of sleep last night, Dave.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty.
Big old goose egg. And here's what I want to start off with, Dave. Sure. This is the quote from AK per Casey Johnson after the trade deadline. We didn't see anything that would make us better. We would take a step back, which we didn't want. We want to compete for the playoffs. No. Erase that. We don't want to compete for the playoffs. We want to compete for the play-in, because that's all we're competing for, is the play-in, maybe winning the play-in, probably not, and then getting bounced. We get one playoff. Let's be honest, Dave. We're probably not even going to get a playoff game because we're going to be on the road.
There's a chance. Look, now I don't want to, take away anything from that fieriness you got. But like I mentioned, on the court, we're 2 games out of 500, which is a number I don't think we've seen since like the second week of the season, Ricky. Mm-hmm. This team started off 4-15. We're 25-27 right now.
Yeah, it doesn't matter when we're 3 games out of 8th. And here's what's going to happen. I'm going to call it now, Dave. You ready for this? You ready for this? Because the Miami Heat are eventually going to get it going. And
you'd like to think so.
Well, because right now they're tied with the Magic. The Heat are going to get it going. The Heat are going to distance themselves from the Magic. The Magic are going to do enough to distance themselves from us. We are going to just float. We're going to float there at maybe, I would like to think we float at 9, but we'll probably move down to 10. I'm going to say we stay at 9, though. Then somebody else is behind us. And then, Dave, what's going to happen is we're going to play the Magic in the first round of the playoffs. It's going to be very contested in the Discord. Kai's going to play in. I'm sorry, play in. It's not even the playoffs. It's the play in. It's the consolation bracket, because we need more games to try to make money that don't even matter because they're teams that shouldn't even be in the playoffs anyways. Like 9 and 10 shouldn't be in there. It's going to be Kai coming at me, going back at Kai, coming at me. The Magic beat the Bulls, and then I have to sit there and wallow in it. I got to wallow
could be even
that
funnier.
The Bulls lost to the Magic.
Could be even funnier, though. The Sixers could fall down without Joel Embiid. There's a good chance the Sixers fall down to the 7th seed, and we could end up as a 10th seed. Just say I'm just putting out hypotheticals since you're hypothetically.
So we can lose to the Embiidless Sixers.
Potentially.
Well,
or he could come back for the game.
At least they don't have Furkan Korkmaz anymore because he kills us every game.
But the point is, you feel like we're capped in that 7 to 10 range. You think that there's no escaping that for this Bulls team. You know, we've been kind of riding a heater. We've been getting the most out of our players. We've even got some of those elusive double big lineups going on, and they are cooking with Drummond and Vucevic together.
I think we're capped because I don't think the Heat or the Magic are going to go on a losing streak long enough, and we're not going to go on a winning streak long enough to flip.
We've been playing some good basketball.
We can play good basketball, Dave. That's fine. It's just like,
I mean, we literally did just beat one of the best teams in the West. I mean, I'm not talking about the Grizzlies.
I was going to say the Grizzlies because they're the best.
The Timberwolves. The game before.
The team, yet again, a team that is inexperienced. We'll see what they do when they get to the playoffs. But
and what are we?
We're inexperienced. I ain't saying we're any better, Dave. I'm just saying
notorious playoff, champion, DeMar DeRozan. Wait a minute.
No one said it yet. The T-Wolves, we could be stamping that fraud stamp on.
A lot of people have put that on them already.
They're a 2-seed. But here's the thing with that quote of we didn't want to take a step back. Take a step back from what? It would be different. It would be completely different if we were, let's say, where the Sixers were, or where the Knicks were, or hell, even where the Pacers are. To where it's you know what, we're in the 5th seed, but we don't want to take a step back because it doesn't really help us. We don't want to move. We're pretty much riding the line of out of the play-in, in the play-in. Being out of the play-in might help us. At least we get a lottery ticket. I know that our draft pick, I think this year, it's weird. This year we have our pick. Yep. Starting next year, our pick could be with it's probably going to be with the San Antonio Spurs.
It's a protection, but yeah.
The thing with this is, was I expecting DeMar or Zach or any of the big names to get traded? No. But the thing is, I was expecting some moves, maybe a Caruso move, maybe an Andre Drummond move. And Dave, here's another thing I'm going to throw out there. And this after the fact really, really angers me because you hear the stuff about how, I know Jake was telling me that apparently the Sixers and the Bulls had a handshake for Drummond, but we couldn't find a backup center that we wanted to replace him. But then I hear this, and Casey Johnson puts out, reported this shortly after deadline, but bumping this again. Bulls tried to get Bojan Bogdanovic from Pistons per sources and had talks on Caruso, but their asking price on Ladder was rightfully high. The first part, I don't even want to hear it. I don't want to hear, well, we tried to get this guy and we tried to get that guy. You didn't. It wasn't a fact of we couldn't get this guy. No, you refused to get this guy. You refused to make a move. You sat on your hands because AK thinks that, my master plan is going to work. My master plan. And I hope he takes my sandal. If I could go to my front door and get it, I hope he jams that thing in my mouth next year. I hope Lonzo's healthy. The sandal gets jammed into my mouth. You see Ted Lasso, because I have a Ted Lasso flip-flop. I hope that happens. But right now, I don't see that happening, Dave. Lonzo is barely shooting. What can barely walk from what we hear.
Okay, barely walk is that's just some Stephen A. Smith right there. Do we need to show you the video of him at shoot around?
Dave, I know the shoot around thing. That's why I brought up first he's shooting because the two
barely walk makes it seem like
we have a guy coming off of a knee injury that he's already had, and this is the position of I said this in Discord. I respect AK. I respect him a little bit for being you know what? I believe in my plan. I'm going to stick with my guns. But then there's another part of me that goes, dude, sometimes you got to know that the plan ain't working and you got to pivot. Like WWE. Hey, we don't want Cody finish the story. Whoa. Okay. You got mad. Let's pivot. Bulls need to do the same thing. And we didn't. Bulls are headed towards Roman Rock at WrestleMania.
Well,
That's what we're headed towards.
If only we could be so entertaining. I do agree with you about the frustration over like the players we were trying to get or targeting. Like there was a rumor about the Warriors reaching out to us about Caruso, and there was a hypothetical package around Moses Moody, TJD, and a first.
Apparently,
and we were like
Kuminga.
Yeah, and we were like, no, we want Kuminga. Like, in what world is Alex Caruso going to get us Kuminga? I don't know. None. But I mean, like, it's one of those things where I'm like, was it a negotiating tool? Were we like asking Kuminga to try to get another pick, try to get another player? Like, what's the leverage there? Because it's like, yeah, well, if you're talking to the Warriors, like, why wouldn't you want the guy who over the last 10 is putting up like 25, 6, and 3 or something like that? Like, he's just having a breakout, part of the season for him. So, I hate the way that those kind of get twisted out there, though, because it makes him look delusional. And I'm like, I don't know if that's true, or I don't know if just at this point I want to believe it because it's so ridiculous. So I'm like, yeah, of course he would do that. Of course he would ask for Kuminga for Caruso. Yeah, just straight up. Let's just, like, why not? It's ridiculous, though, at the end of the day, that we did kind of hold on to all the pieces. There was definitely interest for Drummond. We've been seeing the best of Drummond leading up to this trade deadline. I don't think there's been a better time to move him. People were clowning us for being like, 2 seconds is a fair, for Drummond. We probably could have got a 1 and a 2. I mean, at that point, like with the way the value of those were going, or at least 2 2s, like there was no question. Caruso has been more of a wild card because just the teams who would be interested in him. I'm not sure like where the value would have been at. Like the Sixers were a team I would have bet the Sixers trying to get Caruso and Drummond together as like a package deal. Yeah. But they went a different direction, and obviously, fingers crossed, they're getting Lowry after moving out of Pat Bev and Jaden Springer over there. But like, there were contenders who needed pieces, and we have pieces. Like it just seems like a perfect marriage, but instead we are like very in tune with. Well, the team's been heading in this direction. We're trending upwards. We are, reclaiming our season. Kobe White has been thriving. We don't want to take away from that momentum of like the Bulls could have like a 500 season this year or better because that's the way we've been playing. So I feel like some of it is delusion, but at the same time, like at what point do you want value back? Because now we get the wonderful stories about DeMar DeRozan loves it here. And if the number is right, we're going to extend a 30. How old? Yeah. How old? DeMar? Are we going to give him like a 3-year? Like we want DeMar DeRozan making $30 million when he's 38 or something?
So AK did have a quote where he said about DeMar, I love DeMar. He's huge for this team, this city, this organization. Dave, there's one quote that since the trade deadline's been running through my head.
Yeah.
The more things change, the more they stay the same, Dave. This is Garpack.
Ooh.
This is exactly Paul Gasol. And what was
no? If it was Garpax, we would have traded like Patrick Williams, and then he would go on to succeed somewhere else.
Well, there's that, but I'm thinking
we'd give up too early on someone, and then they would just throw it in our face.
There is that, but I'm thinking the Paul Gasol from I want to say it was like 2015 is when this was, because DeMar's a free agent, Drummond's a free agent. Bye, boys. We ain't getting nothing for them. They're leaving. Like, come on. Like, DeMar, I love the whole, like, oh, he's going to stay. Of course he's going to say that now. He doesn't want
we're going to pay him more money.
Do you see what our fans did to Jerry Krause's widowed wife? Like, do you imagine what we'd do to him if he became a heel and was like, yeah, I'm leaving at the end of the year? Like, he'd get booed the rest of the year. Of course he's going to say, oh, I love it here.
Yeah, until
that pen hits the paper, I don't believe it.
I mean, like, it's the whole thing. Like, if DeMar wants to go win a championship somewhere, I understand where he wants to, go. If he wants the most money, we probably would pay him the most money again. That's what we did the first time. You were the one throwing out there, like nobody else. We were bidding against ourselves out there. So hey, DeMar DeRozan still got value.
Against ourselves again.
We might
more money.
We might. I'm a little bit afraid of that one. That's the big concern.
He's 34.
Yep. So if we sign him to a 3-year deal,
he'll be 38 by the end of it.
Yeah, please no.
Well, 7, 8, like
somewhere birthdays happen. Yep.
This team,
it's a tough thought.
And you know what's the other thing that I was talking to Jake about this. When I saw this tweet, I was like, oh, AK, I would not have let this info get out.
What's that?
AK confirms what already has been reported. Ownership would sign off on a rebuild if he wanted to choose that route. AK has made it clear he doesn't and wants to stay competitive. Dave, for the longest time, and you're probably disagreeing because I'm going to guess you're saying ownership would not sign off on a rebuild.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Reinsdorf is like, what, 88? Yeah. I heard somebody else talk about this, and they were basically like, you think that this man wants to go out, like, seeing his team, like, in a rebuild? No, they want to keep it together because they want to compete because he's towards the end.
The reason why I hate that Kornasovich put this out there is the one saving grace that you had from fans.
Yeah.
The saving grace you have is like, well, you know what? His hands are tied, Dave. His hands are tied by the ownership. Like, he can't do anything. Reinsdorf won't let him. Now you're just saying, like, no, it's my decision. So fans can go, oh, I can just blame you? I'm going to blame you then. I'm not going to blame Reinsdorf. And I refuse. I still sell the team. He should still sell the team. But now I'm putting all the blame on AK. And I'm telling you, if the plan don't work next year and we're bad next year or we're mediocre next year, following year, 2 years from now, I may start the hashtag Fire AK.
Oh, it's already.
AK. Hi, everybody. Just want to take a quick moment out of today's podcast to tell you about our sponsor for today, BETUS, a sports book that has it all, whether it's basketball, hockey, football, soccer, whatever you like to bet on, BETUS has you covered. And they are offering our viewers and listeners today a 125% sign-up bonus just for using our link down below in the description. So go ahead, use that link down below and get your 125% sign-up bonus, BETUS. And now, let's get back to the podcast.
I don't know if you ever taken a look at the Bulls subreddit. They were like, so when's the sign going up?
Yeah,
it was a Fire AK on me sign, at the same spot. So, like, look.
You got to admit, he's stubborn, right? He's too stubborn, right?
Either stubborn or he has an incredible amount of self-belief in what he has put together and how it's all going to magically just mesh at the right time, right place kind of situation. Because I don't believe it. I'll be honest. I feel like this is a situation where he's just taking the blame because everybody knows Reinsdorf for the longest time is cool with just cashing a playoff check. And I don't think anything's changed there in his old age.
Do we cash a playoff check if the only game we play is on the road?
Yes.
It's a play-in game. Do the play-in games count as a playoff check? Or do you have to actually
I think the way the rev share works out, we do get bonus money for making the play-ins, yes. I mean, look, we're not going to go over the tax. That's just been the consistent thing there.
I don't even
the Lonzo injury money, never spent it.
Yep.
So we still got a chunk of that. Not going to get that money back. So yeah, again, he can say one thing publicly, and you can believe it if you want to. I don't know that I do. I feel like this is just a move with him already having, and again, Jake had to remind me of, hey, he already signed that extension last spring. So he's there for at least 2 more years. And I was like, I don't know that we're going to keep him. Like, he's saying this because he doesn't want to get fired kind of a thing. This is like, hey, if I turn around and rebuild, like, I don't know that I'll be here to see it through. I still think that might be part of it because like, I get it. We don't want to pay people more than we're going to, but same time, like, I don't know, for rebuild, you need like a good 3 years, 4 years. I mean, not every team has the capital to flip a team over in a couple of years like the Thunder have. So my bet is you got to compete when you got to compete. The ownership is extremely old, and he's maybe a little concerned about that. So,
how many teams do you know that built their championship contender not off the draft, but off of trading?
LeBron James.
Wait. There's one more caveat. When the best player is of the caliber of Zach LaVine.
Oh, well, I mean, Zach LaVine is just not a winning player.
Yeah, so exactly. Like, you said one of them. LeBron James in Miami Heat is one of them. I also look at, the Celtics built through the draft, but like, what did they do this year? Oh, we're going to add KP, who's a better player, I would say, overall than Zach LaVine. And Drew Holiday. Look at the Clippers. We're going to go out and get Kawhi Leonard after he won a finals in Toronto and Paul George. Both those players, higher caliber.
And then go ahead and add James Harden still.
Yeah. The Suns, like Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal. I guess Bradley Beal, you could kind of like
Zach LaVine, Bradley Beal, same-ish category.
But Kevin Durant, let's add him in. Let's add in Nurk Dog. Let's send dominating over to Portland. Like these teams are building with like you can only do that if the guys that you're bringing in,
if you already have a guy, basically,
or just the guys you bring. Like look at the Clippers: Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, higher quality than DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine.
Well, yeah, but also, I mean, they had to give up a lot to get those two guys.
Yeah. Well, okay, so you either need the capital to have a guy to build off of,
but you have to be willing to make moves. Is the end goal here? Like, there's no team sat still and won a championship. Even the Nuggets went out, had to make a trade, had to get Aaron Gordon in there to help them win a championship. You look at the oh my God, why can't I think of the name? The Bucks. Had to go out. They had to go get Drew Holiday with a big deal trade to get Giannis the help he needed to win a championship. No team is doing it without making deals. How are we sitting still and not making deals? Every other team making deals is at least changing the odds. They are trying to constantly improve their odds of the end goal. And meanwhile, our plan to get better as a team is to do nothing and hope things get better. Like that is some real delusion at that point, because look at the Knicks. The Knicks are just a bunch of guys. They made one big splash signing. They got Brunson. And then guess what? It's trades, drafting, trades.
I'm going to be honest, though. What I was going to say is, like, just look at the East alone. So if I list down, I can basically go through the top 7 teams in the East.
Sure.
Celtics, Jason Tatum. Cavs, Donovan Mitchell. Bucks, Giannis. Knicks, Jalen Brunson. Sixers, Joel Embiid. Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton. Heat, Jimmy Butler. Every one of those teams has at least one guy that you can say that's the star. That's the superstar on that team.
Yep.
The Magic is where Magic Bulls, that's where you start to be like, okay.
We're up and coming.
Like,
but they have 2 guys who are better than
I'm not trying to bad talk the Magic or anything. I'm just saying the Magic are in that spot. Paolo could be that superstar, or they could have the young collection of talent. We're going to trade for that superstar. They're in that. Look at the Hawks. The Hawks have who they think is the superstar in Trae Young. They could move. We talked about DeJounte Murray during our trade deadline special. Like, we are in that spot of like, if Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan are your guys, you're not going to be winning a finals. I just believe that thoroughly. You're not going to win a finals.
Collection of guys, though, can get you over. It's just it doesn't feel like we have the right collection. And you're right, like because even the group of guys, yeah.
Like you say the Knicks are a bunch of guys. The only thing
Jalen Brunson plus a bunch of guys.
Jalen Brunson made that jump towards like even Tim when I was chilling him was like, did anyone have Brunson that high in their mock drafts in 2018?
No,
and I don't.
No, he was a fringe first.
Yeah,
he was a fringe first rounder.
First pick of the second round is where I had him, I think.
No, I mean, the only thing for the Bulls case is the fact that Kobe White has proven that as a 1, he's electric. He absolutely can be our guy going forward.
As a 1,
the Bulls' best player. Okay. As the Bulls' best player, he's electric.
As a point guard.
He's been better. I don't think I would go as far as like, I think he's our perfect point guard and But I think if you're looking at like you want to name the guy on the team, it's Kobe White. Yeah. Like I get it. DeMar is situationally great for us. Vucevic has at least sucked less lately. The 3-point shot, I wish to God he found consistently. But like when you talk about the guy on our team, Kobe White's that guy. He's been electric. He's been like the basically third and fourth quarter against the Timberwolves into over. Like that was amazing performance by him. So like. I think we got our guy now. We figured it out. The problem is we are paying, how many million to Zach, how many million to Lonzo, how many million to DeMar, how many million to Vucevic. So it's like you got to retool around that.
Kobe White ain't on that rookie deal anymore, where he's getting $11 million a year.
That's like nothing still. That's for his production. That's Ricky. That is one of the best deals in the NBA right now. That is one of those weird moves where it's like somehow this worked out for us. Let's not fingers crossed. And again, people who are going the way too far away and are like, this is like the equivalent of the Steph Curry deal. And I was like, shut the ever loving up right now. Like, let's not compare Kobe White to the greatest, offensive weapon outside of Kevin Durant in the history of the NBA. Like, let's just
greatest shooter of our generation.
Yeah, he's definitely,
or of this generation, I should say, because our generation is
all time. We just say that, it's not. There's no bold enough of a statement there. But the point is, that gives us an opportunity to build around a guy who's only making $11 million a year, which is wonderful. So great. Let's figure out how to put a roster around him relatively quickly while he's still on this cheap deal. And instead, we're like, you know what? No moves is the best way to build around Kobe White, because I don't know if they just see him as a 1-to-1 for Zach LaVine now, except just much cheaper. So it's weird, right? Like, you'd think that we now know our guy. We can build around him. We can start making moves to build around him. And instead, what do we got? We got the same guys on the same deals.
Now,
actually, bigger deal.
I'm going to ask you this. Could one of the reasons why we didn't make any moves at the deadline be, like, we're talking about, oh yeah, we could build around Kobe, build this, but like, could one of the reasons be that you look at our draft picks this year, we have our own?
Yep.
And we ain't getting Portland's, because Portland's not going to be out of the lottery.
Yeah, I think Shaedon Sharpe actually underwent surgery, so he's going to be out for another minute. Weirdly, they didn't make enough moves. So
we're going to have our pick this year. Looking forward, next year, if we're in the top 10, we get our pick. Otherwise, it goes to San Antonio. Now, the debate is, that's where the ultimate debate is, and I'll leave that for a second. But the Portland pick, it's lottery protected. Then in 2026 lottery protected, 2027 lottery protected, 2028 lottery protected. Dave, I'm calling it. I've called it before. I'll call it again. Don't even count on us getting that first round pick. It's going to become 2 seconds in 2029 because the Blazers are not going to be good enough.
We'll get it in like 2026 is my bet.
I not holding my breath on it. It's going to be 2 seconds. That's what it's going to turn into. Wait, is it 2 seconds? Oh, no, it turns into 1 second. I'm sorry. 1 second. So it'll turn into 1 second in 2029. Yep. Then you look at the other one of our pick. It's top 10 protected next year, then top 8, and then 2028, it turns into a second if we haven't conveyed it. This is where the debate was, because it's like, if we go to compete, we're basically giving up on the 2025 draft. Because we're not going to have our pick. We're not going to have the Portland pick. Because Portland, whether you think it'll convey later in the future, it ain't conveying next year. Portland ain't going to be a playoff team next year. So unlikely. It's like, to me, the choice was, let's go full rebuild. We're not going to get that Blazer pick. We might not ever get it. Let's go full rebuild so that we stay top 10, top 8, and that the Spurs never get a first round pick from us.
I kind of get that. I do. I just feel like the weird thing is the draft picks that we've used up to this point are project players already.
So do you even, I was going to ask, do you then not trust AK to make the picks even if we had it?
I mean, look, he's taking guys who are projects. Like, I would assume it was grown a ton. Even though he was an upperclassman, he still was a project pick. He just happened to have some NBA ready skills and put into a role where like, hey, we need you to step up now or else. And now this season, like, as of late, he's turned it on. He's been a great addition to the team.
But he was a second rounder.
Right. And so was Julian Phillips. Julian Phillips was a second rounder. Guess what? Project player, super athlete, great defense. Shot was a question mark. He's been doing really well in the G League. He's getting some minutes up with the main team now. Exciting. And then obviously Dalen Terry, our first round pick 2 years ago, who got like 8 whole minutes in the NBA his rookie year, which was a choice. He was a major project pick. And again, like awesome energy guy, just build wise, you got potential. He's got some stuff that he started to string together, but it's still just not enough. So AKME so far, they like projects, they like athletes, they like raw guys who they can kind of build and work with, which for a team who had playoff aspirations sends a different message, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
like you weren't expecting Dalen Terry and Julian Phillips to contribute day 1 or 2 or 3 or 365.
And that's the thing. Should we be looking at it then of like, well, it doesn't matter if we don't have the pick next year because like, so the projects in the second round, I have no problems with. The only thing is the only first round picks we've seen out of AK are Pat at 4 and Dalen Terry at 18 in 2022. Yep. Like those are the two. So it's like, should we be sitting here going, well, it doesn't matter because he's just going to take another effing project.
Probably.
And then it does not. But like if you're rebuilding, then it makes sense. If you're rebuilding, it's like, oh, it makes sense to take the project because we're going to be bad anyways. It doesn't make sense to take the project when you want to compete at the same time. Like,
thank you.
You can't do both.
But we are. And we are paying for it.
You can't.
And we don't know if those projects are going to hit or not.
You can't.
It's a fun situation where like that front office and our draft capital and our direction are in two different spots. What he's saying versus his actions are two different things. That's the only reason I don't believe what he said out publicly. I think that the directive from the top is still the same as it always was, which is go collect your money. And guess what? We expect you to make a play-in game. We expect you to try to compete because there's not another option out there. And meanwhile, the actions are going slow rebuild. We're just going to keep going project route.
I have this question for you then. If you think that quote's a bold-faced lie and that ownership still wants him to compete, then why even say it? Because it doesn't help you.
Because you have to say something.
Don't say that.
By not making a single move, you have chosen a direction for the rest of this year.
I'd rather AK just say, I believe in my plan. That's way better than what was said there. Like,
I mean, Dave, do we need to trust the process Chicago version?
If it's not true, why say it? It doesn't help you in the fans' eyes. It makes
but it helps him in the front office eyes. He's taking heat. He's taking the heat. He's going to be here till 2029 now.
He's locked up that long term. He's going to be here for how long was Garpax here? Because he's probably going to be here just
20 years.
Let's see, Gar Foreman.
I think it was like it depends what role officially, but they had been with the organization for a very, very long time. Yeah,
let's see. Gar Foreman was. Oh, where is it? Chicago Bulls. He joined the Bulls as a scout in '98. That doesn't count. He was named, so 2004, he was named the director of player personnel. So in 2004, he was that. In 2009, he was the GM.
Yep.
And we fired him in 27, was that 2017 was Pat's year?
No.
Or was that later? Or was that 2 years later,
Pat's
2019?
Just on the final, like 19?
Yeah, so 10 years? You're right. He's going to be here until at least 2029.
Yeah, it's got that feeling, So that's all I'm saying. Draft picks one side, but I think right now, when you look at the team and Kobe being our guy going forward, you got Caruso there, great mentor. You got DeMar DeRozan, good mentor for a lot of the wing projects. Like, you've got guys who they can build and learn from, which is nice. And at the same time, you're not sacrificing too much. Like, again, I'm not happy with this. I'm just trying to rationalize at this point.
Here's the other thing that just popped into my head.
Okay.
You're bringing up Kobe White.
Yeah.
Which this is not going to be Ricky Bad Talk's Kobe White.
I love that.
What I'm afraid of, and what just popped into my head is, what if he's playing well because Zach's not there? And he's he's got more freedom to maybe be him.
Yeah.
Then what's going to happen next year when everyone's healthy? And then, oh, wait, the role you were playing last year, you don't get to play that role because Zach is back and Lonzo's back. And what if Kobe White then regresses to what he was last year?
Fingers crossed. Well, let's say hypothetically.
Am I going to be calling him the trash can again?
No,
Like,
no. We're not going back there. I'm saying
he may be that if
Zach LaVine is probably getting dealt in the offseason.
I hope so.
You have to wait until more teams have deals and money available. So that felt like a situational thing, especially with him agreeing to surgery was just the final nail in the coffin. Likely Zach is getting dealt in the offseason. Worst case scenario, let's say he doesn't. The season starts off, you go Kobe, Zach at the 1-2. I think you
When's
end up
Lonzo supposed to be back?
Next year.
Yeah, but like mid-season,
Start the year.
beginning.
No,
okay.
just to start the year.
Okay.
If everything goes well, it should be there for the start of the year. If no setbacks, if no everything else, obviously. But you got to assume they're going to start off with it taking it slow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do see DeMar just going to the bench to lead the second unit. Like he already does that.
He would want to lead a second unit here rather than
for $25-30 million.
Somewhere that could win a championship.
For $25-30 million.
Go play with
25,
LeBron in LA.
$30 million. I'm gonna keep saying the money.
Go play with the Clippers and
that'd be great.
Like the new stadium.
Yeah, sure. You take a vet minimum over there, or you get $25-30 million from the Chicago Bulls.
I take the ring, but whatever. I take a chance at the ring.
I think at different points in your career, you might make different choices. I would have bet on trying to go for a championship myself.
Yeah,
but that's a lot of money. That's just a lot of money that we would probably pay.
And I know it's a different conversation. I'm just going to say it. I know there's players out there that have been like, I'd take the money. It's just like for me, winning a ring puts you in a different category of players.
Right.
That you get to put yourself into that fraternity.
Sure.
Whether or not fans and people like us are
look, he's going to be a Hall of Famer regardless. I mean, if he keeps up at the rate he's been going.
Hall of Fame.
But also, like, he's just over, 20,000 points, whatever. Like, he's got insane.
I'm just saying everyone makes a basketball Hall of Fame.
Not everyone, but a lot of people. I think the interesting thing will be, obviously, seeing how Lonzo comes back with that. But, again, you got to find those pieces around Kobe White then for next year. And how much are we paying Patrick Williams? That's another question.
An RFA.
That's another question. Is somebody just going to be jerks and be like, hey, we'll just give him a bunch of money to mess with you?
Like the Kings did with Zach?
Yeah.
What team would do that?
There's a lot of question marks out there.
What team would do that to where they'd be seriously like, hey, we're just going to offer Pat? You think
purely
so?
Charlotte. That's my thought.
When they did get rid of PJ Washington.
PJ Washington, yeah, they did not like that deal. So there's a lot of choices out there. But look, at the end of the day, you said we don't got a guy. I think we do got a guy. Are we building around this year? No. I think we're just sitting pat, standing in the middle, and we're going to get a lot of a pick just outside the lottery. And to be honest, this year, that's kind of value-wise, like anywhere from pick, I don't know, 10 to 70. Sure. That's about the same caliber of player. You got the same, I mean, the odds go down a little bit, but like
with how
a first rounder this year.
With how this draft is going, we're not going to get a superstar anyways, right, Dave?
No, I'm going to pick the most project player ever for the Bulls. Like, that's of course where we're going with this. So
do you want to take a guess at who Tankathon has us taking at 11 right now?
Is it still Rob Dillingham?
Yeah,
he won't be there.
It's Dillingham.
He won't be there. Yeah, no chance.
You don't think he's there at 11?
No, he's very good.
What project player would you take then? Since you know the prospects way more than I do at this point in the draft.
Let me see.
Dave's like, let me pull up my.
I don't even have my spreadsheet. It's in a tab buried somewhere on my computer, so I'm just going to Tankathon because it's the quickest thing. If I had to guess, we might go a Saloon out of France. I would love to go for someone like a Tyler Smith, but we won't do that. We would not take no. Ora Kamchi is someone who like a bunch of people are getting way hyped up about after his performance in December. He is from Cameroon. Joe Kim Noah was his mentor. Working with him. So like there's the Chicago Bulls tie in there. He's a 6'11" kid. Like that feels like the move that we would make. If we're trying to make our own Giannis, I feel like that's the direction we would go. I'm just throwing it out there. He is big. He's athletic. He's got a little bit of a shooting motion. He's very raw still.
Right.
But with that Joe connection, how do you not love that?
I just got.
I personally like Kwame Evans. I would love up there too. Huge Kwame Evans fan.
I just got to look up one thing on my computer, Dave, really quick. You ready for this?
Yeah.
When do pitchers and catchers? Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. That's where the Bulls have taken me right now. To where when do the Cubs start spring training? When's that?
Yeah.
You know what?
It's understandable.
When does football start? Football starts again soon, right?
Can I? Okay, it feels like we're winding down. Can I
Yeah.
just ask the question of?
Go ahead.
We kept the roster.
Mhm.
We believe in ourselves to some extent.
Well, he believes in himself to some
Right. The Bulls front office does.
Yeah.
Do you see a matchup in the play-in that would lead us to getting into the first round of the NBA playoffs? Is there everybody's still pretty close in the East, so there's a lot of teams that could shift around. Do you see a path for the Bulls to get into a first round playoff series where we would probably get stomped in by, the Boston Celtics?
No. And the reason why is we're playing the Magic no matter what in the first round, and Wendell will have a career game against us.
Really? You think we're going to end up against the Magic?
Well, it's either us against Orlando and Orlando or us against Orlando and Chicago. Like, I don't see enough movement to where if we move up, we're moving up to 8. We're never going to move up to 7. I don't think.
I mean, the standings are the teams right now. The Pacers as the 6th seed have 29 wins. The Heat have 28 wins. The Magic have 28 wins. So I don't know how you're like, we can't get to 7. Like, dude, they have the same amount of wins right now.
No, I know.
And we are pacing ourselves at a better pace than both of those teams are over the last month.
I'm saying this pace is not going to keep up.
Okay, you think we're gonna start falling off?
We're gonna fall. We're gonna fall off. They're gonna start getting hot. Like like the Pacers will be interesting because trading away Buddy Hield, we'll see like what happens.
That's more Ben Mathurin minutes, which we all love.
But
that's a new fan. And they have Pascal Siakam. Come on.
I don't. I see
the
us climbing.
Sixers falling. I think the Sixers fall down to maybe 7, maybe 8. There's a chance. They have a tough schedule coming up. Jake sent me their schedule coming up. You want to hear this?
Yeah, he said it to me too. Something about the Celtics in like 5 games or something like that.
Yeah, let me pull it up real quick. All right, so they go Hawks, Wizards, and then it gets fun. Cavs, Heat, Knicks, Cavs, Bucks, Celtics. If they win 2 of those games, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
so we're saying if they go 2-6 in their next 8 games.
But we're talking about by the end of the season. Not
and
like
I'm saying, no, I understand that. I'm just saying, hey, that's also multiple weeks. Okay, 8 games takes a lot of time. Not just 2 weeks.
But the thing with the Sixers is I can't say for sure whether they're gonna fall or not.
I mean, I've been watching them. They're pretty dog now.
I know that, but Joel Embiid could come back. Like, we don't know.
Right, but how much of the season will be left when he comes back? If he comes back. That's the thing, because even if magically Joel Embiid recovers from an injury in record time, are they going to make him come back out there if they're not in a position where it looks like they can compete for a championship? Or is it going to be a situation where it's like, hey, man, just sit it down like we are?
The only way,
at the 9 seed or something crazy.
I'll put it this way. The only way the Bulls are making the playoffs, if we play in the play-in, that was the question. So we're playing. Like, if we get to 7 or we get to 6, then it's moot because we'd be in the playoffs. But if the Bulls are in the play-in, the only way we're getting to that playoff is if option A, we somehow get to 7 and we play like the Raptors in the first round.
Well, the Raptors are not making the play-in.
Because we would just win and get in.
They are not making the play-in.
I mean, they could.
No, they are worse than dog.
Hey. I mean, quickly.
No, there's no hey.
Quickly Barrett playing well. Like they can make a run. The bottom of the East is bad, Dave. I don't expect any of the teams.
Atlanta. I was gonna say I already have written off Detroit, Washington, Charlotte, Toronto, and Brooklyn. All those teams are not going to make it. So it's the 10 are the 10.
The Hawks are also not like I think the Hawks.
I think they're going to put together something.
Hawks, Nets, Raptors. That's one of those is going to be the 10.
I think it's the Hawks pretty strongly.
Could be the Nets. I don't think the Hawks are
technically
a lock
sure,
for 10.
but I think they are.
But like I look at it,
They got DeJounte.
The point being, if we play the Hawks, we lose. If we play the Nets at 50-50, if we play the Raptors, we win. Other than that, like I don't see us beating the Magic. I don't see us beating the Heat. Like I think we could beat the Magic. I think we could beat the Hawks. I'm a little afraid of the Heat, but at the same time, I think we kind of match up well against them. So it's a weird situation where, like, yeah, Jimmy can cook. Yeah,
but
that's all it's going to be is Jimmy's going to cook.
But all it takes is one of our guys getting hot from the outside. Like, and I know they can match that, like, whatever. But, like, if Kobe White can have a performance like we've seen, he can shoot us through games, man. That's the thing.
I have as much confidence in this team and the play-in as hours of sleep I got last night, Dave.
Wow.
I'm
on the other end, man.
I've used that.
I'm on the other end of this one. I really think that we could make a play-in win. I think we can get through it. Yeah.
But like, what does it even mean? Like, what does it all mean,
man?
No. What does it all mean, Basil? Because no matter what, let's say we win and like, ooh, we get the 7 seed, or ooh, we win, we get the 8 seed. If we get the 8 seed, congratulations. I don't get a lottery ticket, and I got to play the Celtics in the first round. And then the other one, great. I don't get a lottery ticket, and I got to play the Cavs in the first round. Don't sign me up for that. I'd rather just stay at home with my lottery ticket. And I might win the Mega Ball. Bless you.
Thank you. That's fair.
I might get Sar. I might get Holland. I might get whoever I want at 1.
I think playoff experience is still important, especially to a young team, though. And I know I say young team out loud, and you're like, DeMar DeRozan's 35. Vucevic is like 33. But point being, I think for the younger guys, it's important to get playoff experience. So am I hoping? Yeah, why not? Unless there's another injury, why not?
I do like the playoff experience.
Yeah.
But the thing I look at is like, this isn't Jordan going up against the Celtics, scoring 61 and making it competitive. Like,
this will be a stomp.
Yeah. When does it, like, if we play the Celtics, does it fall into playoff experience, or does it fall into we're going to build a losing playoff culture because these guys are just going to get stomped? Like, there's a difference between experience and just getting stomped.
We saw the best of Patrick Williams in that playoff run against the Bucks. We got to see Patrick Williams in a game that we have no chance of winning. And we're just like, dude, just go create, go take shots, go try to do as much as you possibly can in a game that we have no right to be in at all. And that's kind of what gave us hope going into the offseason for Patrick Williams having a future where he can grow and he's more than just someone who will stand in the corner on offense. And that was huge for him. And that was huge for Bulls fans. That's, I think, why I want to see that again, because I want to see more young guys get an opportunity against a top-tier team in a series. I think it gives them a moment to shine. It gives us something going into the offseason. Like, even if you go out, there's a good way to go out, is my point. There's still something you can take away from a playoff series stomp. Like, if it's 4-0, I don't care if our team does some things nicely.
You know what probably will happen to this team? What's probably going to happen is we'll finish 9th.
Sure.
We'll beat whoever's 10th.
Yep. And then we'll lose to
the Heat or the Magic.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be just like, and honestly, I hope the Raptors get the 10 seed, because then it can be exactly like last year. Oh, we beat the Raptors. Oh, we lost to the Heat.
Yep.
Like, is this what I signed up for? 2 years in a row? Like, the same thing? Like,
that would be kind of cool, actually, but
no, it wouldn't, Dave. It would be
exhausting. just for the whatever sake at that point. But yeah. And on that note,
by the way, the Bucks series you're talking about was 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
There's a part of my mind that was like, oh man, that could have been last season. Nope. I blocked that play-in out of my mind. Now
I was gonna say you just mentioned the play-in.
No. I'm saying before that you were talking, I blocked it out of my mind. I was like, wait, the Bucks was that, and I was like, no. Now that it's coming back, I remember, Dave, because that Raptor game, I was like, put your money on the Bulls. They're gonna win that game, and we did.
And we did.
And then I said, put your money on the Heat, and they did.
we played really good for 3 quarters against the Heat. 3 really good quarters.
It was the most important quarter.
But then we're like, hey guys, what do we do in the fourth quarter of a basketball game? Do we A, run sets, or B, ISO ball? ISO ball, baby.
Yeah, Bulls fans, let me know what you guys think down below. I am just not.
You feel like we messed up by not making a trade, and if so, what were some guys you wish you had seen?
It should.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Well, it's. I don't know. Let us know down below what exactly
positivity.
What Dave said. It's hard.
I'm sorry. Continuity.
It's hard to be positive right now. Let us know what you think down below. Baby. Check out the Discord link in the description. Patreon's down there. Hit that sub button, that like button. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, we're also there. Dave and I will be next month. This is an emergency podcast. This is like a 0.5 in the episodes. This week is Heel Talk, so next week is Bulls Talk. So not this Monday, but next Monday. But then this week, Dave will be Draft Room. Go ahead, follow the channel. You'll get all the updates when we're putting out stuff. But that's going to do it for me. Bulls fans, I want to apologize. Sorry that I was not as positive, but I am just losing it with this team, and I want it to. I want the good times. I want my good times when I was a child and we won 6 championships and I was spoiled. Well, and we were born at the exact right time because it just was happening. I want those again. I want those days. I look at Golden State and I go, I'm jealous of you. Well, not this year, but like before. Let us know what you think down below. We'll be back later. Have a good day, everybody. As always, we'd like to thank the people that make these videos possible, our patrons whose names are displayed on the screen now. If you would like to become a patron, go ahead and click the Patreon icon in the bottom right. And if you'd like to check out another video from MVP Sports, hit the video in the upper left. As always, thanks for watching.